What if the hero of the story was hiding in fear? What if the warrior God chose didn't believe he was strong enough to win? What if the person meant to save a nation was convinced he was the weakest of them all? This is the incredible true story of Gideon. For years, the people of Israel had turned their backs on God, and as a result, they faced hardship and oppression. The Midianites, a powerful and ruthless enemy, would sweep into their lands year after year. They were like a plague of locusts, destroying crops, stealing livestock, and leaving the people starving, broken, and terrified. They were just surviving. We first meet him not on a battlefield, but in a wine press, and he wasn't making wine. He was threshing wheat, a task normally done out in the open. But Gideon was doing it in a pit, hiding from the enemy, hoping to save just a little grain for his family. He was scared. He felt defeated. And it's right there in that place of fear and hiding that the angel of the Lord appeared to him. The angel's first words are almost shocking. He looks at this man cowering in a hole and says, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Mighty warrior? Gideon must have thought it was a joke. He looked around. He saw no warrior, he just saw himself. He responded with brutal honesty. "Pardon me, my lord, but if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? My clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my family." He saw himself as small, insignificant, and completely unqualified for any great task. But God saw something different. He saw a leader. He saw a deliverer. God told Gideon that he, the least of the least, would be the one to save Israel from the Midianites. So he asked for a sign, a little proof. He put a fleece of wool on the ground and prayed, "God, if you will save Israel by my hand as you have promised, let there be dew only on the fleece and all the ground be dry." The fleece was so wet he could wring a whole bowl of water out of it while the ground was bone dry. But doubt is a stubborn thing. So Gideon, feeling a little bold, asked for one more sign. This time, he prayed, "Let the fleece be dry, and the ground all around it be covered with dew." The next morning, God answered again. The miracle was reversed. The fleece was dry, and the ground was wet. God was patient. He met Gideon in his doubt. 32,000 men answered the call. A huge force. But then God said something that made no sense. "You have too many men." God knew that if they won with such a large army, they would boast in their own strength, not in his. So God whittled the army down. First, he told Gideon to send home anyone who was afraid. 22,000 men left. Only 10,000 remained. Still too many. God then had them drink from a river. 300 men. 300 men against an army so vast it was described as thick as locusts. And their weapons? Not swords, not spears. God commanded them to take trumpets, empty jars, and torches to hide inside the jars. An army of musicians and light bearers. It defied all military logic. But Gideon's newfound faith led to obedience, even when it didn't make sense. At his signal, they all blew their trumpets, smashed their jars, and held their torches high, shouting, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon." The sudden blast of noise and the flash of hundreds of lights in the dead of night threw the enemy camp into utter chaos. They woke up in a panic, without Israel's army lifting a single sword. The entire Midianite force turned on itself and fled in terror. God had done the impossible with the improbable. Gideon's story teaches us something so powerful about how God works. He doesn't look for the qualified. He qualifies the called. He doesn't search for the strong and confident. He seeks out the willing and the obedient, and he provides the strength. The very same man who started this story hiding in a wine press became the leader who delivered an entire nation. The Bible verse, Judges 6:12, says, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Maybe today you feel like Gideon. Maybe you feel small, weak, or insignificant. Maybe you're hiding in your own wine press of fear or doubt. But perhaps those words that were spoken to Gideon are meant for you too. God sees the warrior in you, even when you don't. If this story inspired you, please consider subscribing for more stories of the hidden heroes of the Bible. Thanks for watching.